This is a very sneaky question. It's going to go against something I know I've told you before if you've watched a lot of my videos. First of all, this is definitely testing that modifiers rule, which has come up in another question in this section. It comes up in every test. It's a very common rule. And so what that means is we need to think about how this sentence is constructed and make sure we start the actual sentence with the right idea. So what we should do is go to here, where we're starting the sentence technically, but we're doing it with an extra clause. Named in 1999 as one of the greatest achievements by a US chemist in the past 100 years. This is all a long intro, but what are we introducing? Right? That's what has to follow the modifier. It has to be followed by whatever we're talking about, whatever we're modifying. So turn it into a question. What was named in 1999 as one of the greatest achievements, right? So what's the achievement? Now, A is starting with Julian. Julian synthesized the alkaloid phistogtigamine. I don't know how to pronounce things. So that's definitely wrong because we're starting with Julian, and this is the guy. He's not the achievement, he's the achiever. But we need the achievement, right? What is the greatest achievement? Not Julian. So we need to rephrase this, so we're starting with the achievement. B, in 1935, Julian synthesized the alkaloid whatever. So again, this is starting with the guy. I still don't like that the year is there, but either way, it's not starting with the achievement. C starts with Julian, but it does something sneaky. Julian's 1935 synthesis of this thing led to the first mass-produced treatments for glaucoma. So that's going to be the answer, because the achievement is the synthesis. Contrast that with D, which gets kind of close, right? It's starting with the alkaloid, whatever. Now, the chemical is not the achievement. It's the synthesis of the chemical. Basically, synthesis means like creation, right? So they're making it. So that's the achievement, is that they made the chemical, not that they have it. So D is also wrong because it's placing the emphasis on the wrong idea. The problem with C, I think for most of you, is in the past, if you've seen me talk about this rule, I usually say that anytime we have an apostrophe, that's a big trap, because the apostrophe is a way of making us think we're talking about one thing, but we're actually talking about something else. And so that's still happening here. It makes us think that maybe Julian is what's starting choice C off, right? It's that's our topic. But here we actually need the apostrophe because we don't want to start with Julian. And so in this case, the Julian with the apostrophe S is kind of making him into like an adjective that is describing the thing we actually want to talk about, which is the synthesis of the alkaloid. So normally the apostrophe is a sign that we're off track on these modifier questions. But this is a harder one, and it's still following the rule. I want to be clear. We didn't break the rule. We just kind of, the SAT maybe went in a slightly weirder direction with the rule than we're used to. And if you're just kind of memorizing my little tidbits, you might have made a mistake here because you didn't understand the rule. You just memorized a tidbit. And those are great. I mean, most of the time they're going to work. So in general, I stand by my statement, which is avoid the apostrophes when it's a modifier question. But if for some reason it calls for the apostrophe, then you got to pick it. The rule takes precedence over every piece of advice I give you. The rule does not change. There are certain patterns that we see on the test in the way that they test the rule, but the rule is what really matters. So make sure you're following the rule. And, if you have to guess, there are certain things you can do, but it's better to understand the rule so you're not going to guess.